There is this ridiculous argument that Patrick Mahomes is the greatest quarterback of all time. And that argument has certainly picked up a lot more steam following the Chiefs' thrilling 25-22 overtime victory over the 49ers in Super Bowl 58. It was an absolutely instant classic. Going to go down as one of the greatest Super Bowls that we have seen, especially that last fourth quarter and overtime period. The Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes got their third Super Bowl in the last 5 years. Mahomes winning all three of those, winning his third Super Bowl MVP and establishing Kansas City as a dynasty. 3 Super Bowls in 5 years. That truly is unbelievable. And to me, there is no doubt that Patrick Mahomes is a top 10 quarterback of all time in NFL history. Some people could even put him up there, and I would flirt with it as well, as putting him as a top 5 quarterback in NFL history right now at this moment, having been in the league for less than a decade. What was this, like his 6th year in the league? It was an unbelievable run, unbelievable what he's done. But to put him as the greatest of all time ahead of somebody like Tom Brady is absolutely absurd. And today, guys, we're here to break that down. We're here to break down the GOAT debate, the GOAT argument. Is it Tom Brady? Is it Patrick Mahomes? Could it be somebody else? I've got guys out there that love Joe Montana that still argue for Peyton Manning to be in that argument. We are here to discuss that today. Instead of our typical Super Bowl recap, we're here to address the things that you're seeing on Twitter, the things that you're seeing on the mainstream media, on the sports talk shows, radio, TV. This is absurd argument for something that, again, it just doesn't, to me, make a whole lot of sense. You break it down, guys. Sports, in any capacity, any sport, is a what have you done for me lately type of business, right? And recency bias in sports is very, very toxic. It's a very toxic thing. And it's understandable, right? What have you done for me lately? Patrick Mahomes, what have you done for me lately? He can go, I have won back-to-back Super Bowls. The first quarterback to do that since Tom Brady did it with the Patriots back in the early 2000s. Pretty dang impressive. So in terms of recency bias, he's got that. In terms of what have you done for me lately, what's Tom Brady done for you lately? First full year out of the league. He just retired last season. So obviously he hasn't done anything. He didn't win the Super Bowl last year. He didn't play this year. So, you take that 20-plus year career, you put it on the back burner, and you sit and wait and see how the rest plays out. Tom Brady is not going to add any more stats, any more numbers to his career. Unlike Mahomes, who's going to continue to stat pad that. Who's going to continue to do that over the course of his career. Whether he plays into his 40s like Tom Brady did or not, we don't know. But sports is a what have you done for me lately business. It is a recency bias business, but you cannot throw away history. You cannot say, oh, because he's won 2 in a row, because he's won 3 of the last 5, he is the GOAT. What about Tom Brady? What about Joe Montana? What about Drew Brees? What about Peyton Manning? So many things, so many aspects that you got to look at in this argument, guys, instead of just what's right in front of you because it's all recent, it's all what's going on. So much more in the past that contributes to this argument. But you break down the argument here, and this really is a GOAT debate between Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes. That's ultimately what this comes down to. And there's 3 reasons right now that we still have Tom Brady as the greatest quarterback of all time. Number 1, and it's the obvious one, it's Super Bowls. You've got guys out there that go, Super Bowls don't matter. Really? The Super Bowls don't matter? I think that's absolutely ridiculous. The measure of success is winning championships. No one cares if you go out there and throw for 6,000 yards a season if you're not hoisting that Lombardi trophy by season's end. No one cares that Kyle Shanahan has been to multiple Super Bowls. He hasn't won a single one. He's known as the Super Bowl choker now. Dan Marino was great. No ring, right? So many guys that have played such great football and done so many great things. Coaches that have done great things. Andy Reid, prior to getting to Patrick Mahomes, great coach. Everybody loved him. But he never won the big one until he got Mahomes later on, right? So it's about the rings. Brady has 7. Mahomes has 3. Until Patrick Mahomes can at least tie Tom Brady, I don't think he has the case. Look, Tom Brady has the most passing yards in NFL history. He has the most touchdowns in NFL history. He has the most Super Bowls in NFL history. Most Super Bowls of any player, most Super Bowls of any franchise in NFL history. And I will tell you right now, I think there's a very good argument and a very good case that Patrick Mahomes will break Tom Brady's passing yard record and passing touchdowns record. I think that will happen. Mahomes is very, very young. He's not even 30 years old yet. He's got a long career left ahead of him. I do think, especially in this age of football, Patrick Mahomes will break Tom Brady in those records. He will break the yardage record. He will break the touchdowns record. He might break the all-time playoff wins record and things like that if he continues to perform at this level. I will not deny that. I can see it happening. But when it comes to titles, hoisting Lombardis, Mahomes only has 3. And that's still really, really impressive. Nothing to dog on there. Keep in mind, at this point in his career, Tom Brady also had 3. Tom Brady and the Patriots won 3 Super Bowls in 4 years back in the early 2000s. Tom Brady at the helm for every single one of those, throwing for over 700 touchdowns, or 700 yards, like 6 or 7 touchdowns in those 3 games against the Rams, the Panthers, and the Eagles. Only 1 interception in those first 3 Super Bowl wins as compared to Mahomes, 3 interceptions in his 3 Super Bowl victories. And we're not even including the bad performance that he had in Super Bowl 55 against Tom Brady. So, rings, that's a big one. Brady's got it. 7 is greater than 3. And Brady also did it with 2 teams, including Tampa Bay, which he led to a Lombardi in his first season with the franchise. Number 2, I think, you know the phrase, if you want to be the man, you've got to beat the man. Obviously, Mahomes did not have very many opportunities to play Tom Brady, but when he did, he failed. Patrick Mahomes is 0-2 in playoff games, where it matters the most. 0-2 in playoff games against Tom Brady. He lost in the 2019 AFC Championship game in Kansas City. He lost that game to the Patriots, who went on to win the Super Bowl over the Rams. And then Patrick Mahomes lost to the Buccaneers in Super Bowl 55, 31-9. Tom Brady, 201 yards, 3 touchdowns in that game. Patrick Mahomes, 270 yards, 2 interceptions, no touchdowns, only 3 field goals for the Chiefs in Super Bowl 55. And he also had that one amazing incompletion, which once again shows the ridiculous recency bias and the, I guess, just too much attention on Patrick Mahomes. And look, I'm not a Mahomes hater. I am not here to dog on him. He is a generational talent. There is no doubt about that. But we replayed that one incompletion he had in Super Bowl 55, probably more so than any Buccaneer highlight from their Super Bowl victory, which they won by 22 points. We were praising Patrick Mahomes for an incomplete pass as compared to anything that the Buccaneers did in that 22-point victory. Again, Brady significantly outplayed Mahomes in both of their 2 playoff meetings. 0-2, Patrick Mahomes failing to beat him when it mattered the most. Now, I will say this. From a pure athletic standpoint, I will argue that Patrick Mahomes is better. I will say that. You never saw Tom Brady leading his team in rushing yards in a Super Bowl, just like we saw Patrick Mahomes do in Super Bowl 58. Mahomes had over 60 rushing yards in the game against the 49ers. You never saw Tom Brady do that. So Mahomes certainly more mobile. Mahomes certainly able to escape the pocket a little bit better than Tom Brady. Maybe extending plays a little bit better than Tom Brady. Arm strength-wise, I'd say they're relatively similar. Mahomes has got a cannon. Brady did too. Y'all just don't like to talk about it. But from a pure athletic standpoint, you might actually give the edge to Patrick Mahomes, and I will not dog that. I will say, when it comes to that crazy incompletion in Super Bowl 55, Tom Brady never would have pulled that off. Tom Brady would not have pulled off that type of throw. Doesn't matter. The incompletion, no one cares. No one should give a crap about it. But Brady wouldn't have done it. So athletically, give the edge to Mahomes. But when it comes to rings, he's not quite there yet. When it comes to head-to-head record, he's not quite there yet. And you take a look at this too. I mean, Patrick Mahomes, quite frankly, last night in the Super Bowl did not play all that well. Yes, they won the game. But his offense, he himself was unable to get his team in the end zone until there was 2:28 remaining in the third quarter. That only happened because the 49ers muffed a punt, and they set the Chiefs up deep in 49er territory. 49ers don't muff that punt, who knows if the Chiefs even score a touchdown, let alone even win the game. So they got that. The other touchdown he threw was with 3 seconds left in overtime to win the Super Bowl, which was fantastic. It was a heck of an overtime drive. But the offense wasn't there. Yes, he had over 300 yards, and that's great. Had an interception. To me, honestly, the MVP last night in the Super Bowl was Harrison Butker, the kicker for the Chiefs, who made 4 field goals, including the longest field goal in Super Bowl history at 57 yards, plus a crucial extra point. He scored 13 of the 25 Chiefs points. Over half of the points for the Chiefs in the Super Bowl came from Harrison Butker. That, to me, was my MVP. Tom Brady, in his Super Bowls, he had 4 game-winning drives in the Super Bowl. He had a 10-point fourth-quarter comeback against the Seahawks in the Legion of Boom defense. He had a 25-point comeback against the Atlanta Falcons in less than 18 minutes. Less than 3 minutes remaining in the third quarter, he led a 25-point comeback to beat the Falcons Super Bowl 51. Because I know that argument's going to come up, right? You're going to say, yeah, but did Brady have 3 straight big-time comebacks? Mahomes has trailed by at least 10 points in each of his Super Bowl wins, which is very, very impressive that he was able to come back and win those games. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. But Tom Brady did have some remarkable comebacks of his own. He had massive game-winning drives of his own, did against the Rams in his first ever Super Bowl win. A season, by the way, that he wasn't even the starter to begin, but yet led the Patriots to the Super Bowl. He had the game-winning drive against the Panthers, the game-winning drive against Seattle, the game-winning drive against the Falcons in overtime. He was clutch in the moments. Mahomes has been too, but Brady right up there with him. And then finally, the third point here, and we'll close this debate. Tom Brady consistently did more with less. And you might hear arguments with that. But Tom Brady, didn't have the all-pro tight end to kick off his career like Patrick Mahomes did. He did not have one of the fastest wide receivers in the entire league to kick off his career like Mahomes did with Tyreek Hill. Brady did not get Rob Gronkowski till about 2010. He didn't get an elite wide receiver like Randy Moss until 2007, about 7 or 8 years into Brady's career. Brady was throwing to guys like Troy Brown, David Patton, Deion Branch, Julian Edelman, a quarterback-converted wide receiver, Chris Hogan, Philip Dorsett. Those were the guys Brady was throwing to. Yeah, he had Randy Moss at one point. He had Wes Welker at one point. He had Rob Gronkowski for about a decade. Not saying he never had any weapons, but for the majority of the career, he did not have the weapons like Patrick Mahomes had, and he certainly did not have those weapons at the beginning of his career like Patrick Mahomes had. He did not have Tyreek Hill. He did not have Travis Kelce. He did not have a guy like Juju Smith-Schuster. Even if you want to give him a bunch of crap, he came through in clutch moments every now and then for the Chiefs, and certainly was a weapon when he was healthy. You can come back and make the defensive argument and say, well, at least Brady had good defenses. He had elite defenses. Did the Chiefs not have that this year? Do you think the Chiefs win the game yesterday if it's not for their defense? The defense came through clutch for Kansas City in that game. The defense, to me, was the reason they won this game. They didn't win the game because of Patrick Mahomes. He played a very big role, but the defense was the story. When Patrick Mahomes throws an interception and the Chiefs start their drive, or the 49ers start their drive inside Kansas City territory and then get no points, that was because of the Kansas City defense, which deserves a lot of credit. 100%. But you can't go, oh, Tom Brady only won his Super Bowls early in his career because his defenses were good, and then coming back to the Super Bowl 58 and go, oh, no, it's all Patrick Mahomes. No, it was the Kansas City defense as well. All right? And again, I'm not here to hate on Tom Brady. I'm not here to hate on Patrick Mahomes. I have said he's a better athlete. I have said he's going to break the passing record. He's going to break the touchdowns record. He is, a generational talent, no doubt about it. One of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. There is no doubt about that. One of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. And he very well could be, by the end of his career, be the greatest quarterback of all time. There is no doubt about that either. He's only like 7 years into his career, and he already has 3 Super Bowl victories. That's absolutely insane. If he ends up playing for another 15 years like Tom Brady did, there's a very good chance he could match Tom Brady at 7 Super Bowl victories. And honestly, if he hits 7, if they tie, then it's up for debate. You might even lean Patrick Mahomes. If he reaches 8 Super Bowl wins, absolutely it goes to Patrick Mahomes. But for the time being, you cannot say that Patrick Mahomes is the greatest quarterback of all time. He is unbelievable. He is one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. He has a remarkable career already a first ballot Hall of Famer, and it's only going to continue to get better and better with each season. He is a fun player to watch. He's a joy to watch. He is bringing life to the game. It is fun to watch. There is no doubt about that. But you cannot sit there and tell me that he is the greatest quarterback of all time when he hasn't even passed Joe Montana when it comes to Super Bowl victories, when he hasn't even passed Joe Montana in some of the other postseason accolades and even regular season accolades. He hasn't even passed Joe Montana. All those records were broken by Tom Brady. So give out your stats for the first 7 seasons. Give out your stats for the first Super Bowl victories, whatever you want to do. But with the overall picture and the overall NFL history, Patrick Mahomes is not there yet. So stop the argument. Stop the debate. It will get there in time. Call me when Mahomes gets to 7 rings. Call me when he gets to 8. Call me when he breaks a handful of these records. Call me when he wins his 5th Super Bowl even. But for the time being, he is one of the greatest to ever do it, but he is not the greatest to ever do it. Tom Brady will be that guy, will own that title of GOAT until proven otherwise. And the guy that will prove him otherwise, possibly, will be Patrick Mahomes. So guys, thank you so much for watching us here at the Gridiron Expert on YouTube. A longer video than we anticipated, but you see it everywhere. We got to put this argument to rest for now. And of course, it'll rage on. You're never going to be able to sway everybody. That's the beauty of sports. We are here to debate. We're here to discuss. So leave your thoughts, leave your comments, leave your thoughts on the game yesterday down below. Let's get ready for the next season. Off-season officially begins now. But right now, we settle this debate. Tom Brady the GOAT, again, until proven otherwise. As always, thank you so much for watching us here at the Gridiron Expert on YouTube. Please continue to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos. Check out everything down in the description below, including our off-season content over on the gridironexpert.com. Do not miss out on that. Again, the link for it down in the description below. And once again, guys, as always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time right here on the Gridiron Expert.